Hello. Okay, now today's a bit different. Camille and Sam are busy and I've bumped into, for the second time, Tim from the Chugging Along
well,
vlogs.
everyone wants Camille in the videos and you've got me in, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I like to mix it up a little bit. Yeah. But one of the reasons we've done this is because the reason we met the first time is a very similar background. Tim and Sam came back from Asia probably about a year before we did.
Yeah.
So you guys were teaching English in Vietnam, and we were running a dive centre in the Philippines, and so you guys preempted what was going on. We could see what was going on, and we went from 3 of the busiest months ever to a standstill. It was like the magician pulled the sheet out from underneath all the crockery on the table. So when we saw Tim and Sam doing their things online, it kind of rang a bell because it was exactly what we were planning to do. So we've had a very similar transition, and we've been discussing how we've made that transition and how we felt about it.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And what you were saying about the busyness of your dive centre just
100%.
before it as well, and yeah, we were very busy as well. We were in China just before we came back, and we had very busy lives, living in huge cities, then to come home and then obviously
3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, well, yeah, not on this boat, is it? Until you get the new engine. But
not
yeah.
until we get the new one. Now, one of the things we like about being on the canal is the feeling of exploration. So when we were diving in the Philippines, even though thousands of people have done the same dive sites, you still get this feeling that you're exploring, and that's something that's very personal. And on the canal, I find it's very, very similar. We know thousands of people over the last few hundred years have been up and down these canal routes, but for us it's quite nice because you don't know what's around the corner, you don't know where you're going to be staying, what kind of view you're going to have. And for me, that's been brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I know exactly what you mean with that. It definitely does scratch that itch of exploration. And yeah, you never know what you're going to see, exactly what you're saying. Everyone has their own favourite spots, don't they? Like
this is one of mine here.
Yeah, you have particularly got us off our trip to moor us into this exact spot.
But
here,
you can see why.
Yeah, and it's worth it, and it's all about almost claiming your own special parts of the system. Like everyone has their own special parts, and and I think that's really good. And there's just so much to explore as well. And you can go to places that you never thought, like Tamworth, for example. I never thought I'd go to Tamworth in my life, but here we are.
Well, when we were kids, we got brought to Tamworth, and you knew you weren't at Alton Towers.
Oh, it's a Drayton Manor, yeah.
Now, I remember at the dive centre watching lots of people's videos to learn as much as possible passively before we came back.
Yeah.
And because you guys were almost doing what we were going to be doing from Asia to the canal network, we watched a lot of yours, and I remember you being very nervous about driving the boat for the first time.
Oh, in the tour video, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I had the same sort of trepidation, but it is relatively straightforward. It's at slow motion, and as long as you don't expect everything to happen instantly, then it's all good. It's not like, for instance, when a friend was teaching me how to fly a gyrocopter. That is very, very, very different.
Yeah, sure.
You make a mistake there quickly, you're going to know about it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, you're very unlikely. A big crash on a narrowboat is
it's
a bit
not
of
the Fast and the Furious, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of blacking getting scraped off or whatever, and it's not the end of the world.
And the locks as well. I mean, where we've got, you have a fear factor if you've never done one before. I mean, I did, and it's quite a natural thing because you're thinking, oh, if I mess this up, this could be catastrophic. And there are some where if you do things incorrectly, it could be. But they are relatively straightforward, and I've got a great assistant who helps me through the locks.
As do I.
So Cam and Sam helping us through. So those things become familiar, and as much as a lot of people complain about the locks, and it can be work if there's a big flight of them.
Right.
Now we've been stuck in this location for about 6 weeks. We quite miss doing the locks.
Yeah, they are a fact of cruising, and it's that I think to start with we dreaded them a bit and were a bit annoying with them, but now you see a spate of 10 is nothing. It's breakfast.
And
really,
you feel like you're accomplishing something at the end of the day. So you might only move 5 miles that day, but you still have this sense of accomplishment, and it's like a living museum.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But on the other side as well, I'll send a location to where my family and say, well, they'll say, oh, you haven't come very far today. I was like, yeah, because I've done 25 vlogs. Like, Sam's been cranking for 25 vlogs, so yeah, that's what, it doesn't look very far, but it's...
What would you say, I mean, obviously in your videos you haven't got there yet, but there's highlights. Now, we've both been on the Stratford Canal, and I enjoyed the uniqueness of the Stratford Canal.
Yeah.
But you went one direction, I won't give it away, and we went another direction. We ended up in the basin in Stratford upon Avon, and I found it, because we'd visited there many years ago, which is why we went back, and I found it quite incredible that you can moor pretty much next to the statue of Shakespeare, and you're right in the centre there.
Yeah.
And yet you're at home.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of aspects to being on the boat that a unique way of living, for instance. So being able to go to Stratford on a vacation, or just as a part of your trip, and then be living on your boat next to the Shakespeare statue in the middle of Stratford upon Avon, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, no, exactly. We had a similar sense that we didn't go that far south on the Stratford, and you did that big aqueduct as well that looked really, the longest aqueduct
That's
in England,
right,
isn't it? And that looked really good.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting that, and I'm kind of scared of heights. Gyrocopters and aircraft, no problem. Ladders, balconies, and now aqueducts, I realise is... So the one in Wales will be terrifying, but I'm going to do it.
You don't trust your knobbly knees very much, do you? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah,
yeah.
But I still enjoyed the one in Stratford. It's a long one, but it's not high. It's only about less than 40 metres at its highest. And it's not.
Yeah, but
no, it's not even that. It's about 12 metres.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but it's quite long as well across the valley. Yeah. But what? So
long but not high is that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about being in the centre of Stratford, we had in the centre of Birmingham at Gas Street Basin, as we'll show in our vlogs in the future. Yeah, and absolutely amazing there. Like,
we've not done that, but we will.
Yeah.
But one of our highlights was also going back to Leicester. It doesn't have the basin that Birmingham has, but it was personal for us because it was my hometown.
Right.
So to head back and be in my hometown in great weather, actually, with no boats because the restrictions had just eased.
Yeah.
Was really quite special because I've been away for a lot of years. So when we go back again, it won't be the same. But that was definitely a highlight.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Yeah. No, that's really good, isn't it, to go there?
Now, I'd also say the challenges that you have, and you've had your share of things breaking, etc. But I found, because it's not all rosy living on a boat. There are issues, and they're constant issues. But some of them, the negatives, are positive. So, like I said, my mate Kevin helping us out with all the stuff and being towed, because Kevin's a marine engineer, but he was my neighbour and I used to go diving with him. So it wasn't like I ever expected him to fix my diesel engine. Yeah. You know? And that was quite good. He put his overalls on and he's in the engine room and he's fixing stuff, and that was really good of him to do that. And then when we broke down, the people that would offer to help without being asked, so twice we've been towed and twice I didn't ask but they offered, and that's quite a positive to take from a bad situation as well. So I'd say even sometimes when you get thrown the bad situations in this particular community, there's a positive.
Exactly what you were saying. Yeah, people are willing to help you, and you're also more willing to help other people. It almost brings out the best, doesn't it? Yeah. And there's not even people that live on boats. What you're saying, like Kevin, he doesn't live on a narrowboat, does he? But he's
not yet, but we're working on him.
Oh yeah. And he enjoys getting down in there and everything. There's just something.
He moans about it, but he enjoys it.
There's something fascinating about it, isn't there? The whole thing, and it brings out the best in people. So
yeah, I think for me, as much as there will always be negatives, I think that if you can take a positive from that, and that's the same lesson in life anyway, then that's got to be good, surely. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's all good. And now we've arranged to meet here for the second time because we were stuck here, and I knew you were heading back vaguely in the right direction. So I'm kind of glad you did. Yeah. So it's a good excuse for.
You got me drinking this very dark sherry. You've got me drinking
very dark sherry.
A pint of dark sherry. Oh.
Well, I'm a bad influence.
You are. Yeah.
So looking forward, I mean, I know I know you guys have got plans for the winter.
Yeah.
And once we get our engine situation sorted out, we've had to shelve some of the destinations that we wanted to go to.
Yeah.
But in many ways, I don't see it as a negative, because there's a lot of things that we could have done this cruising season that we've been prevented from doing because we're waiting to get our engine replaced.
But you've got to know, the slower you go, the more intimately you know a place.
Well, I know where all the littles are now. Yeah. So there's always a silver lining to that. But I think also then it means next year it gives us now a chance to, because we're going to have to sort of plan our winter really, it gives us a chance to really sort of think about what we're going to do for the winter, and what we're going to do as the winter eases next year, because we're still babies when it comes to the network, to the canal network.
Well, we had that during our first winter. We hadn't really travelled much at all, and when you're in those short December days, you start thinking
first winter in 7 years for us.
Exactly. And you think, what do I want to do in the the positive is thinking, well, we've got that summer coming up, what do I want to do?
Plenty of research.
Exactly. You've got plenty of time to read the books, look online, watch other vlogs and stuff, and realise what do you want to do, so you'll come up with an epic plan. But yeah, when we started, we had quite a few embarrassing moments before we started filming stuff. And like for you, when you started, because do you think you had less of them, do you reckon?
No, loads of embarrassing moments. I've pulled over to allow someone to pass me because we were very, very slow and underpowered, and got stuck in the silt. I had to push myself out with the broom.
With the broom?
Yeah, with the broom. And I've left the fenders down, got stuck in the locks in Stratford, and the guy was really cool and helped me through. And then the worst was in Foxton locks, because there's a big audience at Foxton, and I should know this because I've been there as a tourist, if you will, as a gongoozler back in the day, and left the fenders down and got stuck there. And the volunteers were really cool about it, but and she even said to me that she did the same thing. She's got her boat stuck doing a Suez Canal moment. So I think when you make a mistake and the person helping you helps you and then immediately tells you their embarrassing story, it puts you at ease straight away. So, but yeah, I have more than my fair share of embarrassing moments.
So what I want to ask you is what about the so when you were doing the diving instructing, and you were driving boats and stuff during that,
I don't do no driving. I had a boat captain for that.
Oh, did you? Okay, so I was going to say, did you have any previous experience? So you were going straight into boat driving as well?
No, I mean, I've driven ribs in Africa and stuff, but in the Philippines the boats were big bamboo outriggers and marine ply, and they're a bit like driving a double-decker bus from the rear.
Oh, right.
So I had big respect for my my boat crew, especially when the weather was bad in the Philippines, because you watch them scampering over the outrigger, the bamboo outriggers, in really bad weather, and that's where they earn their money. Those guys have got experience that has accumulated from years.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they'd find this interesting. I think they've watched this, but they find it interesting. But I think they'd find it a breeze. Yeah, 100%. 3 miles an hour. The locks would be interesting. I'd love to see all my boat captains. It's a good question. From around the world, the ones in Jamaica, Mozambique, Zanzibar, and the Philippines. I would love to see those guys on the canal. Yeah. That would be amazing. Yeah.
No, that's it, because it is.
That would be amazing. Yeah. It would just be so funny to watch their faces as you go through the locks, because it's totally different.
Yeah. Obviously, here we are miles away from the sea, and it's still boating.
It's boating, but it's not as you know it, Jim. Yeah.
Tim, but yeah.
No, Star Trek. Yeah, it's boating, Jim. Yeah, but not as you know it. Okay, well, that's us done for this week. Me and Tim have got a bit of catching up and a few beers to consume, or sherry, as it case may be.
I get you on the sherry the other night, didn't I?
Yeah, you did get me on the sherry. But thanks for tuning in this week, and hopefully next week we'll have some more news about the engine, because we're still waiting for news on that delivery time, and everything hinges on that. But until then, see you next week.